Hi, welcome back everyone. So this is our second episode for the Banker Talks podcast. So today we have Ambreen Ahmed, who comes from Lahore, Pakistan, and that makes her a very special guest for us today. She's been very vocal and on digital marketing. Today we'll be speaking on digital marketing, how it has been impacting businesses and the hype around it. Because these days, especially when work from home started, every businesses has been going digital. And today we have Ambreen Ahmed, who has been very vocal and very enthusiastic on digital marketing, and we'll try to glean some expertise from her experience, what it looks like. Ambreen, a very warm welcome on the show. How is it going from
Thank
your
you.
side?
Thank you so much for having me, Dipankar. So,
Yeah,
like you
up
know,
here.
it's been like a very bumpy ride for all of us here, all
Mm-hmm,
around the globe because of the COVID situation. So, I think
mm-hmm,
a lot of companies, a lot of businesses which have taken a very good start is
mm-hmm,
based on marketing or digital marketing
mm-hmm.
to to prosper in their businesses.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ambreen, how does the situation look like in your vicinity, especially if I speak of Lahore in specific? So, I mean, how's the situation over there in terms of coronavirus?
So the thing is, Dipankar, it's very similar. Like
Mm-hmm.
in Delhi or India, in all these South Asian countries, we tend
Yes.
to, because of the poverty and all,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to have a lot of COVID situation getting out of hand. So
Mm-hmm.
currently, now our positivity rate went up to about 25-30% as well. So now it's
Mm-hmm.
getting down slowly. We don't have a lot
Yes.
of outdoor dining. We
Yes.
don't, the restaurants and everything's are not open, the banquet halls and all. So our
Mm-hmm.
life is definitely disrupted, but
Mm-hmm.
I would say like it's picking up pace now.
Yes, I mean, likewise here in India as well, Ambreen, situation is getting under control. So cases have been falling from 25,000 to around somewhere 500 and 600 in New Delhi, if I speak of. So situation is definitely getting under control, and that's a very great situation. That seems to be very positive, isn't it?
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
devastating to see the Indian cities being affected so badly. Like you guys are
Oh
right
yes.
across the border, and it was actually really painful to go through that. And I hope that nobody goes through that process.
Yes, I mean a couple of months back it was something else. I mean we had never seen before, but it was something else. But now, yes, the situation is definitely under control, and hopefully it gets better and better by the day.
Yep, definitely.
Yes. So, Ambreen, starting on digital marketing. So, how do you think digital marketing has been impacting over the years in terms of business and otherwise? How do you see it's coming from digital marketing, Ambreen?
Honestly, I think in the past decade, the concept of
Mm-hmm.
marketing on its own has become like a very big thing. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
go like 10 years back, you would think like, what is marketing? A lot of companies didn't even have a marketing sector to begin with. But now it's a
Mm-hmm.
very big, a lot of companies now a lot budget especially for marketing. So that's big. And I believe like internet growth is directly proportional with how marketing growth went. So over the
Mm-hmm.
past 10 years, we have seen a huge change and how
Mm-hmm.
things are being done across the world. So it has
Yes.
liberalized the way how businesses and companies market and advertise their products.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, we were talking about mostly marketing was done through voice, one-to-one meeting or
Mm-hmm.
something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But now
Yes.
you have seen like so many things are coming up. So I think definitely in the last decade we have seen a huge transformation from 0 to 100. Everything is now digital.
Yes, I think the trend has been parallelly moving towards, as we have been seeing that speed of internet has been improving. I mean, since last decade, if we compare, and the trend that we see in digital marketing, I mean, it's going parallelly with the speed of the internet and the penetration across the world or the specific region, if we speak of. So I think that's really wonderful. So, I mean, there's a lot of content on internet these days, videos, blogs, podcasts. Here we are, and how do you think that it's really relevant as per the target audience it is? Because there's a lot of dearth of content. There's no you just Google it out on any topic, and there we go. You just get the topic out of it. So looking at that point of view, so how is it, how content becomes relevant? I mean, you have to be very specific on the content, on how you strategize on the content strategy. So I mean, what are your thoughts, Ambreen? Let's just share some of your expertise.
So that's a very good question, honestly,
Hmm.
because we have now very big names coming up directly linked with the internet, like social media marketing, SEO, which is search engine
Yes.
optimization. So
Hmm.
these are all very big names, marketing automation. So, but the correct question is how to keep your content relevant and
Yes.
engaging enough for the audience. That's a very important question, which a lot of company skip sometimes now. So I
Yes.
think, in my opinion, I would lay down to like 5 points. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the most important is that your content should be timely marketed. Being there at the right time is the most important thing, because even if you have a great product, but if it's not timely marketed, I think that's something which really affects how you engage the audience. And the I think do not overproduce content. Like a lot of people would say, like make 500 posters, posters on
Mm-hmm.
every social media from LinkedIn,
Yes.
so Twitter, Facebook, and everything. So you need
Yes,
to
it's
like
everywhere. Yes.
strategize where you want to market. So if you're going for the youth, I think you would go on Instagram advertising, Twitter, LinkedIn, all these platforms. But if you're looking a bit older generation now who are very prone to using Facebook and other platforms or websites or stuff like that, we can always put stuff there. So I think not producing content, having the right content, putting the right targeting the audience which benefits your product. For example, if it's not a problem, I'll give you an example.
Absolutely,
Like
please.
recently, I was looking at the campaign with Just Eat from England.
Mm-hmm.
They did
Mm-hmm.
so they're like Uber Eats or Zomato you have in India. So
Mm-hmm.
they're similarly like food delivery app, but they invested so much money by hiring Snoop Dogg. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people raised question, why were they putting so much money in? It's just a food delivery app. But it turns out that they made like 40% more profit since they introduced one video which targeted the right audience, which was the youth between who were ordering food online using Just Eat from the
Mm-hmm.
age of like 15 to like
Mm-hmm.
35, 40. So those are the people, like that's the age group which actually listen to Snoop Dogg in the songs. So that's called target marketing, as well as the audience. They kept the audience in mind. They made a profit. They recovered the money they spent on Snoop Dogg for
Mm-hmm.
marketing, as well as they made profit. And now, undoubtedly, it becomes the number one food delivery app in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, absolutely.
So I think that's very important that you know your audience, you have a right strategy in your place, you don't over reproduce content, you don't
Mm-hmm.
copy your content, be
Yes.
original as you like. And I
Mm-hmm.
think you need to be like very analytically very good. So you need to
Oh
have the
yes.
analytics. Like for example, like you're talking about COVID cases in Delhi. I would know something similar about Lahore. So that's something the analytics comes into.
Oh yes, yes. I'm pretty sure authorities in both the countries, they must be tracking and analyzing the situation as per the numbers in which geography. So analytics play a really important and critical part in any sort of sector, you say healthcare or any sort of industry or businesses to say so, because everything is digital. I mean, I was just I'll be honest, I was watching some content on OTT platform, and I was just wondering. It was a second series, and I was wondering, so how did they make second series, and in the sense, how did they segmentize or they target the audience from the first series? Because they must have. I mean, that's my thought. It's they must have analyzed it in the first series that where is their targeted audience, because on
Definitely.
OTT platform they can readily track the number of hours our audience has seen, in which geography they have been watching more, where they have left and where they have continued more and more. What are the
And
reward?
Dipankar,
Yeah.
all these things not only add, it's also time effective and cost effective. All the
Oh
analytics
yes.
they put here.
Yes.
So these are the two things which definitely a lot of companies do want to have improvisations on. So if you're reducing
Yes.
the cost and if you have the right content and by some research analytics, so that's
Mhm.
always a plus plus to the company.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if we compare, Ambreen, let's go 20 or 30 years back, and where digital was something that may not be the buzzword, in fact, or may not be the word exactly in the dictionary, in fact. So, I mean, if you compare the marketing from those days to the present scenario, how do you compare the industries has been shifting? I mean, what's your take on that, Ambreen? Because since last 30 or 25 years, so business has been transforming, and with the digital boom, it's been growing very rapidly.
That's true. So the thing is now when people are talking about marketing, they refer to traditional marketing and digital marketing. But
Hmm.
honestly, 25 years back, there was absolutely no marketing. It was either pamphlets or videos. Sometimes you
Yeah.
used to share over email when the email came into. So I think there was
Yeah.
actually really no marketing there then. But
Hmm.
I would say there was traditional ways were effective then, but I think over the past 30 years, we have seen like a phenomenal growth in the
Hmm.
companies, the structures, and because of how they market their product. Like even you would know, of course, a lot of friends who have their like little startups coming up, small
Oh
businesses,
yes, yes.
and their products are absolutely very, very simple or not that great. But they market
Hmm.
it so nicely because the young people, that's what we are good at. So, and they are selling like crazy. Like a lot of people I know are running on 200% of profit with a product
Hmm.
which is so basic, like a normal hair oil. And they're sending
Hmm.
it with a lot of nice stickers on it, with a lot of
Hmm.
branding ads, with beautiful
Hmm.
girls in it. So that's how they're marketing and making it so
Yeah.
nice so that
I
people
mean, yeah.
actually want to.
Yeah, I mean, since you mentioned startup, Ambreen, I was about to ask you how important is digital marketing for startup, although you just covered a bit here. So, I mean, what's your take on digital marketing for startup? How important it is? Is it a mandatory to accept it, or I mean, it depends on model to model for which industry or which business they are in?
So it's a very interesting topic. It's something I really
Mhm.
love these days.
Yeah.
So, like you will have seen in the past, like 5 years in South Asian countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, a lot of effort has been put, a lot more in India than Pakistan and Bangladesh, I would say, in how technology is helping the little businesses or startups coming into existence. So, like in Pakistan, I can quote like we have 400% increase every year in
Oh,
how startups are coming up. That's
that's
huge.
inspiring. That's really
Yes.
inspiring. Yeah.
So all these, I think, startups are coming into existence a lot quicker and on a successful rate because how they can effectively manage their budget as well as how can they get the business going and they market their product. So I would say that digital marketing is a very the marketing strategy is very very important for a startup to begin because they would be on a very small budget. That's the purpose of it, and they have to
Yes.
side by parallelly manage how they spend that money, and they don't want to spend on something which is marketing. So they would of course cling on to which are free products like social media marketing, search engine, email marketing, market optimization, content
Yes.
marketing, which are like free platforms they can use.
And that too, when then when they are very tight on their budget and they have to be very specific where they're spending on marketing. So digital marketing really plays a significant part here in that scenario where you have to be very very specific and very niche in terms of spending on marketing rather than your core operations.
Of course, you can have a great product and everybody wants to buy it. But if you don't have a proper plan or marketing plan, I would say, to put that product in front of people, I think you are heading towards a failure.
Yes, I think STP plays a role here, which is segmenting your target audience and then targeting and you positioning your brand. Probably that their startup can focus upon, and they can similarly embrace the digital marketing there. So I'm not sure. It's just that I studied in Aston University, where you come from. So it's just the STP that I can relate to here. For startups, Ambreen.
Yeah, because I was looking at one of the Bloomberg article last week, and it was saying that 17% of the startups fail because they don't have a marketing plan. So that's a
Yes.
significant amount of percentage.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that gives the number that where they need to concentrate upon. Because as long as you have a good product, that is fine. But if that good product or the features of that good product is not reaching out to the target audience, again, it doesn't solve the purpose, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's one way of looking at it. So I mean, what they should be focusing on during their initial years. I mean, like if I really speak of startup, what is something in digital marketing that they should be focusing? Is it the SEO part? Is it the email marketing, or is it the wholesome package that they need to focus on? I understand, it depends on industry to industry and sectors again, and if you go deep down into the industries again, it depends on their geography which they want to cater. But still, I mean, in overall scenario for our listeners, especially those who are startups or they're looking to be into businesses. So what is something that you advise for startups to focus on their initial days? Because once they have been to once they have been through to that initial years, they can they have the luxury of spending a bit on the marketing side. But especially when you are on in your initial days, it becomes really challenging, and there it from there it decides the projection or the path where the startup is heading. So just
Yep.
curious to understand from you, Breen.
Yeah, you adding to what you're saying actually.
Mhm,
So the thing is, when you're starting up, you don't have a lot of budget on you, and
mhm,
that's perfectly okay. That's the purpose of startups. But how well you spend that budget, that's very important. So you,
mhm,
when you are talking about marketing, you would want to startups mostly primarily focus on free marketing. Free marketing comes from social media, basically email marketing, content marketing, these and search engine optimization, which is 20%, which is free. So once you dig deeper into that, you need to spend money. Okay, so
mhm.
that's the basic package you need to focus on. That's a very generic one. But if you're talking specifically what suits what company or business, and I can give you an example. Like we have a lot of in Pakistan new startups coming, which are based on agriculture, which are like agri-tech
Oh
and all these
yes,
things.
yes.
So these, because a lot of our land is, a lot of our businesses is
Mhm,
dependent on agricultural product,
mhm,
pesticides and stuff like that.
mhm,
So we are
mhm.
now focusing on improving the agriculture part by introducing technology into it. So I think email marketing in that respect would not really make sense because we're dealing with mostly people who are uneducated. So they're not
Yes.
very,
Yes, they're
they're
not. They yeah, yeah, I got you where you're coming from. So
so
they do not have very handy in terms of seeing the emails or just getting
exactly.
starting up
So
with the email. So
they would
yes.
not like go into like Google or something to type in or
Mhm.
something. But because
Yes.
of the awareness of using internet and usage of smartphones, because if you can compare, like I think you can relate in India as well. I think
Mhm.
Pakistan and India are one of the biggest users of 4G and
Yes,
smartphones of
smartphones. Yes.
China made smartphones which are cheaper, less than like
Our our
$150.
our good neighbor China.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So we were investing a lot more. So over here, like you will find a guy working on a land. He would
Mhm.
not speak one word of English, but he would know how to use a smartphone. So we're getting into an era like that. So they would have a
That's
WhatsApp.
yeah. That's the beauty of penetrating the market, especially
Exactly.
where you
So
see the
that's how.
potential activities.
So for like a for an agri tech company, for a startup like that, you would want to market, in my opinion, through WhatsApp. Send a picture, make a poster or something, and send it out. And I've physically seen, because my family is also similarly involved in a business like that, and we are how to grow a very nice olive garden and stuff like that. And I'm sending a picture and a poster, and they're actually understanding what's really going on. But at the same time, if I send them an email or ask them to Google something, they'll be blank on that. So I think it
Yes.
depends on the market you're targeting. So if you're
Yes.
talking about agriculture, that'll be very different. If you're talking about a software house, it'll be
Yes.
absolutely the polar end of it. So I
Yes.
think the audience determines, or the basically
The
the
target
content.
audience is really important, where you're
Exactly,
trying to reach
you
out.
got it.
That's absolutely yes. So, Ambreen, on the conclusion, just curious to understand how do you see the role of marketing, digital marketing changing over the years? How do you see it? Because it has been changing over the years since, I mean, we recently, spoke on how it has been changing since last 30 years. So from here on, how do you see the future of digital marketing, say 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, or after on?
I think it's penetrating, and it's penetrating really fast. Like
Mhm.
it's going like there's no like stopping to it at the moment. So it's going like, for
Technology
example,
has
if you
been
talk about
changing like anything, literally. I mean, it's been
exactly,
changing every day. I mean, you just wake up and you see something different altogether.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you take an example of our university in Aston, we were
Hmm.
there. Things were very different back in 2013 when I
Oh
graduated.
yes, yes,
Right
yes.
now, they're having like virtual graduations and they're
Hmm.
having like virtual, they can send you pictures and stuff like that. And these
Yes.
are all very new ideas for us.
Yeah.
They're sending you content. Like I was with the alumni meeting the other day, and I
Yes.
was connecting with a lot of younger. They were doing projects on people who have left and how they have improvised their life. We had nothing that this like 8 years back. So this is like really penetrating fast. And I think in terms of specifically digital marketing, I think people are not now becoming very aware of brand awareness. Exposure is a lot more. I think over the period we'll get a lot more. I think widely spread. And I think
Yes.
all the concepts, of course, now these SEO, SMM, SEM is
Yes.
already coming into place. I think, but a lot of people will be aware of it. Like we are aware. Like now, after this, the older generations will also have an idea what's really going on. And I think
Yes.
social engagement is something. I would sorry, I will rephrase it. Relevant social engagement will become a very big concept because right now we would have like 2,000 people on our Instagram or something like that. So over the
Hmm.
period, I think you will be having relevant content a lot more than like a lot of everything's filled like. So you'll have a lot more targeted, relevant content in the coming future. And I think a lot of 81% of the businesses will be relying on the digital marketing and for growth and for conversion rate optimization and all these things. I think it plays a very crucial role, in my humble opinion. Not being biased here, but I think digital marketing really would add a lot of value of how you run your life, how you run your business, and how
Yes.
successful you are.
Yes. Yes. In fact, two buzzwords coming to my mind right now is AI, which is artificial intelligence, big data, data science.
Yeah,
These are the technologies that they'll that would be shaping businesses a lot more convenient, a lot more measurable, a lot more
and they've also,
targetable in terms of reaching out to the audience, and digital marketing would definitely add value in terms of analytics or something.
yeah, I think in India and Pakistan, AI already started to penetrate.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
my previous job, we were actually managing larger plants of big like Nestle and Coca-Cola,
Wow.
managed on AI based
Mm.
microchips. Like you could manage sitting from your at the ease of your home and
Mhm.
managing big factories by
Mhm.
just putting a chip in, and all based on AI behavior. So it was really,
Okay.
it's really, I think,
Wow, I mean that's these two. I mean AI specifically. I mean these are so wonderful topic, and I think these are the topic that calls for a different podcast for another day. I think for
definitely,
AI, absolutely.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So Ambrini, it was wonderful, wonderful insight that you shared with us for our listeners. It was absolutely amazing to hear from you, and
Likewise.
it's really good to understand how technology has been changing over the years in our South Asian countries, specifically India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and allow us to wrap up the call on that note. And
Thank
thank
you
you,
for having
listeners.
me.
I mean,
And
it was indeed a pleasure having you, Ambreen. Till the next time, listeners, we will wait for another guest. Thank you very much.
thank you.